there, it's Debbie with the Pickin Coop Farmstead. We just got back from our community breakfast. They do it once a month down at the community center here where we live, and all the benefits proceed the volunteer fire department, which is great. You go down, have a wonderful breakfast, get to visit all your friends, and have a great time. So anyways, I am coming back and I'm processing the last of all this crazy stuff, 30, 40, probably 40, 45 pounds of produce. I took some to some friends down there, and I still have stuff left over. So I've got stuff in the dehydrator. I've got red bells, but I picked them while they were green. I've got some holy basil, regular basil, parsley, and pepperoncini peppers. So those are dehydrating now. And so what I'm doing over here is I'm processing some tomatoes. We just bought a new to us little baby freezer. It's pretty darn cute. It's just like our big one, only on a much smaller scale. So I'm going to turn you around here to show you what I'm doing. I've got tomatoes and they've already been washed, and I'm going to core them. This way I don't have to process them by canning. I mean, there's several things you could do. You could do sun-dried tomatoes, you could dehydrate your tomatoes, or you could can them, make them into all kinds of stuff. But what I do is I just core them after I've washed them, core them, and I put them in gallon Ziploc bags. And you want to make sure they're at the peak of ripeness, but not too ripe. And then I can use them or process them at my leisure. So now that I have a place to store them, I can just put them in the bag, zip it up, try to get the air out, zip it up. These ones I think I'm going to keep out. Let's do this one. We'll get this one done. And I imagine by tomorrow I will probably have more that I can go get. And like I said, once they start blushing pretty good, I like to pick them, and then that way they don't split, they don't get the bugs on them, that kind of thing. Then I just fill this up. Oh, it helps if I put this tomato in there. Hello. Put that guy in there. Fill it up. Try to get the air out. Boom. And then just put this in the freezer, and as I get more tomatoes, fill this up and then move on to my next bag. So that's pretty simple. Then another thing I wanted to show you, excuse me, is I've got this crookneck that percolated while I was gone over at the coast, and it's way too big and tough to eat. But once they get big and hard like that, these are the best ones to go ahead and try to harvest the seeds out of. So I need to grab a spoon. All right, and then I have something to put the seeds in. I just use my Pyrex measuring dish. Then what I like to do is you just take your spoon and just kind of carve around the seeds and scoop them out. Kind of just like you would a pumpkin, really. And I'm gonna stick them all in there. Try to get every seed out that you can. Every seed counts. Then what I do with the meat, I go ahead and I just kind of slice it up and give it to my chickens. Nothing goes to waste, and you gotta figure every time you give them scraps, produce, whatever you're giving them, you can give them meat. You just don't want to give them stuff that's rotten or moldy, of course. And they're omnivores. A lot of people never think about chickens being omnivores. Chickens will even eat chicken. So then they get that. So they love this time of year. They're loving it because they get all kinds of stems. The only things I really don't feed them, and I bet if you talk to an old timer that's had chickens, especially during the Depression era, they even gave them, I don't give them pepper leaves eggplant leaves or stems, or even the little green stems off the top of the tomatoes, because those are all considered the nightshade family. So they say they can potentially be toxic to your chickens. So guess what? I put them in my worm bed. And if I don't put them in my worm bed, something I don't think a worm should even be getting a hold of, I put them in my compost pile. So nothing truly goes to waste. And I have a little tree. I don't know, I think it might be an avocado. I'll do a video on it probably tomorrow or the next day. Oops, hello, I just had a brain fart. I want to get that tree out of there, and I can't picture myself putting an avocado pit in my worm thing, but I might have, who knows, that's what it looks like. Okay, so now we have all of our seeds. Now the goal is to separate the seeds from all of this, so I'm going to fill this up with water and let it kind of percolate for a day or so. That loosens all this stuff up. And then once we get all the meat and all that stuff out of here, then I will take the seeds and take them, put them on a plate or something, maybe covered with a little tea towel or something. And then that way they can dry. And once they're thoroughly dry, I put them over here in my sunny part of my kitchen. And once they're dry, then I can put them in a container or an envelope or even a little Ziploc bag and label them. Make sure you label them. And I try to label them as I'm doing something like this, because I'll go, especially if the outer thing is gone, you can't really tell. You can tell these are squash. They're not pumpkin by any means, but they're some kind of squash. I will label them because this time of year, I don't even remember. I'm doing so much stuff. So what I'll probably do is just take a piece of painter's tape, that blue tape, and I'll put on here crook neck. Then I'll know exactly what it is. All right, well, I hope you learned something, what to do with your tomatoes while you're waiting to do a big batch, because you don't want to do small batches unless you absolutely have to, like I did the other day. But now that I've got freezer space, not a problem. This you want to kind of stir around and change the water every day, and then pick out the meaty parts as you can, and that's how you save these kinds of things. So next I'm going to keep my tomatoes separate, and when I get a really nice super ripe tomato, I'm going to go ahead, and you do tomato seeds kind of the same way. You put the gelatin and all. It's too hard to get that out of there, and then you'll save your tomato seeds that way. But mine are all mixed up. I got mortgage lifters, I've got bush beef steak, I've got beef steak, and I've got the cherry, obviously, are super easy because they're the only cherry tomatoes I have. They're just called cherry tomatoes, I think. I don't know how to look. But anywho, yeah, that's all you do. Same thing with peppers. I saved all, let me show you. I saved the bell pepper seeds. Hold on. And I put a little tag. I know they're red bell peppers because I didn't grow any green ones, but all peppers are green, and then they turn their colors later. But I picked them off, and this is what you got. Now, I learned the hard way last year. I left them on this little core that they stick to. Take that off because they all turned black, and they just didn't sprout. They didn't do very well. So I want to take all these off, and then the chickens will get the core part. But look at all these seeds. That's from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it was only 5 little bell peppers. So yeah, that's lots and lots and lots of seeds, way more than I will need to grow next year. So it's kind of exciting. So again, you want to let them dry thoroughly and label whatever you're letting them dry on. And then when you put them in your Ziploc or little containers, we save little pill vials. I take a lot of vitamins and the hubby takes a prescription med. So we save all those and I wash them really thoroughly and dry them. And then we're going to start storing our seeds in that. So I'm kind of excited. Okay, so that's all I'm doing this morning so far that I haven't done a video on yet. So I'm going to let you guys go. I hope the sun is shining where you are. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks a lot for watching and supporting my channel, sharing, liking, and commenting. Every little bit counts. And we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye.